4 stories that will get you the MBB offer. A perfect case, flawless math, still rejected. Why? Because your behavioral story sounded like everyone else. You didn't come across as authentic. Now, firms use behavioral questions such as, tell me about a time when you changed a stakeholder perspective, or tell me about a time you led a team through a difficult challenge, in order to understand if you bring transferable skills directly relevant to consulting. I'm Ashwin, a former Bain manager turned coach, and I've helped hundreds of clients just like you land their dream consulting offer. And today I'll show you exactly how to craft narratives that will make partners at top-tier consulting firms fight for you. Now here's what most candidates don't realize. Behavioral questions like tell me about a time when you changed a stakeholder perspective, carry as much weight as cases. Because partners at top-tier consulting firms are asking themselves these 2 critical questions. Would I trust this person in front of my $1 million client? Would I want them on my team? Your stories need to answer both these questions. They need to show that you have a high level of proficiencies in certain key competencies that will make you a standout consultant, that are relevant to consulting. And I'll be talking about these 4 key behavioral competencies today. So forget these 50 behavioral questions that you found in a question bank. MBBs mainly evaluate these 4 core dimensions that I'm going to share with you today. The first is influence. Can you change someone's mind? Not just using logic and data, but with empathy. 2, leadership. Can you enable teams to achieve challenging, difficult, ambiguous goals? Not just bossing them around, but actually enabling them to meet those challenging goals. 3, entrepreneurial drive. Can you push through when everything goes wrong? And 4, teamwork. Can you work well with teams when there are genuine conflicts and opinion differences? Every behavioral question that you might get in a fit interview at top-tier consulting firms maps to these 4 key competencies. So if you master one story for each of these 4 dimensions, you will ace your fit interview. Dimension 1, influence. Most candidates will say, I convinced my boss with data. You know what the top 1% candidates say? You know what those top 1% candidates who land MBB offers say? They say, I understood why they resisted and then addressed their real concern. I understood those emotional reasons why they were blocking the idea. So the key here is you need to show empathy. You need to have more influencing mechanisms in your arsenal rather than just showing data and logic. Dimension 2, leadership. Now, McKinsey doesn't care if you are a team captain or you are head of a particular department. They care if you enabled others to achieve challenging goals. If you facilitated success, not commanded it. Because in consulting, you will have 0 authority, but still you will be expected to drive impact through others. Dimension 3, entrepreneurial drive. Now, this isn't about starting companies. It's about pushing through hell. It's about navigating difficult obstacles. So you need to show in your story grit. You need to show resilience. Interviewers will not grade how fancy your achievement was. They will be assessing on when going gets tough, how do you navigate those difficult obstacles? How do you make necessary trade-offs? That's what interviewers are looking for. Dimension 4, teamwork. This isn't about being nice to your teammates. This isn't about being affable. This is about how you worked through conflicts in order to achieve the shared team goal. So in your story, you need to show how you built trust through transparent communication. How did you institute rituals like daily huddles? How did you have those one-on-one conversations where your teammates readily shared their concerns with you, and how did you help them manage those concerns? Now, in behavioral interviews, McKinsey will go much deeper than BCG and Bain. Be ready for Russian doll probing questions. If you have played with Russian dolls, you will see if you pick up one doll, there will be another doll underneath. So every answer you give will unlock a sharper probing question. Because the interviewer, what he's trying to do is that he's trying to get as much rich details as possible so that he can assess your proficiency level in that behavioral competency. So he will ask you questions like, why did you choose that approach? What made you think that that will work? What did you exactly tell him? How did you know they'll respond in that way? They're not focused only on your actions or your achievements. They're testing your thinking process. They are interested in understanding who you are as a person, what kind of behaviors you gravitate towards when the going gets tough. So 4 dimensions, 4 stories. That's your behavioral interview. But here's the key, and this is what I tell my mentees. Don't memorize stories as scripts. Don't just regurgitate a memorized story. Structure them as bullet points so that it can help you articulate your authentic experiences. Be as authentic as possible, because only when you're authentic, you can build trust with the interviewer. Now, partners and interviewers at top-tier consulting firms have heard thousands of stories. Yours will stand out by showing how you think. So don't just focus on what you did. Focus on how did you think? Why did you make these trade-offs? Why did you make these decisions? Tell me in the comments which behavioral dimension among these 4 challenges you the most. Thank you for watching.